Every single turn. Jack says, I think the thing that bothers me most about Pokemon switching to full party XP share is not toggleable, as you said, Tails. Oh yeah, it's not toggleable. Like, you can't just turn off full party EXP. Although I hate how it feels like Pokemon has taken more and more player autonomy from the players recently. Or boring.
I do have to say, I will not blame anyone for being pissed off about it. But I also get why. I always have to, whenever everything was like, why isn't this in the game, or that, or this, why did they got this out or that out, the other out? With Scarlet and Violet, I have to point out, they were unsuccessful at fitting what was in the game, and not having it be broken. There clearly was no time or anything else. Yes, the argument of there should be more time is obvious. Yeah, 100%. That is the issue. We should have like 5 to 6 years to make these games. However, with the current state, they do not have room for toggling the experience share on and off, because that requires balancing for both versions of the game. They don't have time for Battle Tower. Anything they removed because they didn't even get to it before it needed to go out, and their game was already incomplete.
So, I want to do a question of that, but it's a little separate from the, like, so take this as I agree with what you just said, and this is sort of a separate question branching off of that.
Nice.
Do they need to rebalance for not having experience share on when they make it clear that experience share on is the way they intend the game to be played? Is there a need to rebalance around the idea that people are toggling it off?
In theory, no. But also, just implementing a toggle function is effort that, once again, everything else in the game wasn't finished,
yeah.
so...
No, that's why I'm saying, like, separate from that. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
This is more an actual, like, game design question.
Yeah,
I never would have thought that there would have to be more rebalancing work going into
the answer is yes, asterisks. Or no. They don't have to rebalance, and they're in the lucky state where they could get away with it because Pokemon fans adore pain. So,
right.
The experience share being toggled off being unfair would probably be received fairly well compared to other franchises.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, technically no, technically they should, but they don't need to, especially with the franchise they're dealing with. End point.
Okay.
I know my tone sounded like I had more to say, but that was the end of the point.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, my thought is, like, especially Pokemon, like you said, especially with Pokemon fandom, is like, when they, for those like Jack, it seems, Jack, I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth here, but when you want a toggle off feature, it's because you want it to be harder. You're basically adjusting for yourself then for the difficulty. So yeah. I was like, this fandom, they just want it off. Other fandoms, they don't want the ability to. They any other RPG fandom would scoff at the idea of being able to turn off classics like group experience share. They'd be like, "What? How the fuck do you want that as a toggle? No, I don't even want the choice for that. Why would you do this?"
Shout out to the girl being spirited away by a hypno in the plot.
Oh, terrifying.
It's fine. Triple the price for less content.
Oh, Jack, are you thinking about that 125 number from before?
Yeah, unfortunately for the state of gaming, not state of gaming, the price of gaming, content does not necessarily always equal effort. There is a debate that they're spending the same amount of years on this as the $40 games, but take that as you go. Yeah, it becomes this awkward case of, well, especially with more so with other series like, say, Tears of the Kingdom being $70. It's just like there's compared to Breath of the Wild. No, that's a bad example because it's literally twice as big. Anyway, it's actually literally more than twice as big.
Is this person? I'm sorry, real quick. In the game, is this person talking in the third person?
Well, still scared. So can I go home?
Is it both? Well, still
It's
scared.
both apparently. Oh, still, darling,
Okay.
baby, die. Didn't you know that you were scared? It's okay, die.
I got to be friends with Gay.
Anyways, we've made a lesbian today.
Her being saved by this cool, strong girl. I hope this awakens something in me.
I think that was all. I think that's all for the mandatory stuff here.
Weird. I thought. Huh.
And there's more. But we'll see. I'll go back to. Did I ever give the thing to the guy?
Go solid question.
I did not. Here's a meteorite. Where did I have this? Ooh, moonstone.
Javier gave you a new Pokemon. Jack's like, but yeah, they should have 3 team cycle productions. That way, each game can have a full development cycle. Honest to God, it is surprising to me that, like, I know there's definitely a point where too many cooks messes up with the kitchen or whatever the fuck, but it is still surprising to me that there's not just more fucking people at Game Freak. Like, more people immediately are not going to fix things, but it definitely would help, especially down the line.
Mm-hmm. Also,
like, so the fact that it's just like still 200 people,
something like that.
what?
Also, third-party help. Honestly, we're talking about other teams and more people, which is definitely a necessity. But once they've gotten that, also just giving it to third party. I know people are huffy at Dina.
Shining Pearl.
Whoever made Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, people are huffy at them, even though it's probably mainly Game Freak being like, make this game in a year. Also, don't change anything because it's our precious baby, and we don't want you to ruin it. But third-party developed stuff can be fantastic. Here, let me finish this dialogue. What's going on so long? You been having a good time? You're done with the thing. You're very well. It's amazing. No, there's almost nothing left for you to do. How do you learn a lot? Really? Well, there you have it. Finished the job. We should head back to Kanto. I'll be seeing you. Yeah, that's all the mandatory stuff. I believe there is a dungeon back here on one island where you meet Moltres. But for the mandatory content, I believe that's all.
Isn't there something with Lorelei?
I believe that is 4 through 7 island in the post game.
I only find I that's what I had initially thought was it was post game with her, but then that's weird that the one person's dialogue was something about Lorelei still being not there, right?
Maybe.
Because somebody warped you to the Elite Four. And when you went in there, they were like, Lorelei's not here, she's on the island, there's a trouble or something, she's there. But then she comes back before the trouble settled, I guess, and then goes back. Why was the line not just that you don't have all the badges? Drew.
But yeah, what are these games called? Video games. Metroid Dread is argued to be possibly the best 2D Metroid game in the series. Some people say Super Metroid, but it is a debate that Metroid Dread may be the best one in the series, and it was made by Mercury Steam, a third-party company, not Nintendo. And both the Oracle games as well as the Minish Cap, the Zelda games, were made by Capcom, and while I think A Link to the Past more definitively is considered the best 2D Zelda game, Minish Cap is pretty solidly considered the second best.
Right.
So like they could hand it off to talented third party devs.
Yeah, they really should be trusting that more. Honestly, I like the big rain right before you go into this last gym. Also, Javier, you're noting where it's like not the makers of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, they made an even worse in Broken Mess. Here's the thing, from all info that we have, a third-party studio was given the time frame of a typical Pokemon development game to do a remake, but without all the assets or people who know how to make Pokemon games. So yeah, it had more issues because it was Game Freak said, hey other studio, make something according to our time frame.
Also,
don't change anything.
Also, it had more issues than a typical Pokemon game, but it did not have more issues than a COVID-made Pokemon game because Scarlet Violet's right there, everyone. Hey yo.
Yeah. 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 Oh, yeah. So, that is just the facts. I do not at all blame that studio. I don't think it's fair for anybody to that Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl came out the way it was. Jack also says you got a new friend for the box.
Oh yeah, I got a new friend.
Oh yeah, who did Javi?
Check that out. Hold on. Sorry about that. I noticed that, and then we got lost in the sauce.
So you got two new friends in the box. So I believe Javier and Jack have sent it. Oh, look at those grabby hands. Look at those grabby graveler hands. Wasn't Legends Arceus also made during COVID? And people had a hard time breaking it at first? Wasn't the majority of it pre-COVID for Arceus? I'm actually curious about this now. Time to look at it. I don't know about having trouble breaking it. I like that I spaced out and wrote Arceus, and Pokemon's Legend Arceus was the first one to come up. Let's see. Sure. Just let me read the thing. What was the date of Arceus' release?
The date? What day did it release?
Yeah, day or year.
Early 2022, I believe January.
Yeah, it says.
Oh dang it! I was supposed to go to the thing.
Gosh darn it! Stop. Love modern day internet. From what I'm hearing, from what I'm seeing here, it had a 4 year, which puts it starting at 2018.
Yeah, so like half of the it had longer development than any other Pokemon game at 4 years. Well, not any other, but it had it tied with Sinnoh and Unova for the longest. And half of its development cycle was outside of COVID. Heck, it probably only took 4 years because they probably postponed it. It was probably supposed to come. I bet both Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl and Legends Arceus were supposed to come out February on the anniversary, because that was like the 25th anniversary or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So I bet both of them were delayed by a year.
Yeah, Scarlet and Violet had a 3-year development cycle and began late 2019. So that was all COVID. That was literally an entire COVID development cycle.
Which is one thing you can look hopeful for Gen 10, is that a part of Scarlet Violet's messiness probably had to do with it being an entire Scarlet Violet, an entire COVID-built thing.
Yeah.
They probably only could have made it not buggy and not really added any other content. But there is that. This is not why I came to the Pokemon Center. Also, Jack, I do believe there actually are 2 Pokemon development teams. I think it's a Voltorb. Limey the
So
Voltorb.
I just want to say no. Ooh. I want to say no. Andrew says, I'll be honest, playing Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl from the beginning with the 2 copies I got is more bearable than Fossil Fighters Frontier. I would hope that the huge company remade game from like 2020 is better than a game that was like what 2014 or 15 for the DS by a much smaller company. I would that is a very should be the bar. It should be the bar.
It's why I desperately tried not to compare Hollow Knight to Metroid Dread. Because like, man, Metroid Dread is a much better game. It has way more money behind it, way more experienced people behind it. It has every reason under the sun to be the better the game. So I didn't want to be like, this indie developed company of like 10 people didn't make a Metroidvania as good as one of the titular titles in Metroidvania made by people who've made a Metroid game and Castlevania games before. How could they have failed that? The bar was so low.
Yeah.
Also, I actually got my point cut short, Jack. I don't think the issue is that they need more than 2 development teams. The issue is there's like 150 people working there, so 2 development teams means there's like 75 people making each Pokemon game, which is probably way too few.
Yeah, like what I think the Tales of studio does 2 solid development teams as well for their staggered release date. And not only is their staggered release date like closer to 5 to 6 years for each one, also like each development team I think is 200 to 300 people, so that's just a whole second Game Freak. Also given twice the time. And granted, they make bigger games, but it's still the general idea.
Also, shout out to Zelda, the open world Zelda. I believe Breath of the Wild had like a 200-person development team. So similar to the size of Game Freak. But Nintendo saw this, was like, we want to upscale. They looked at the scope of Breath of the Wild, and I believe tripled their development team size. Return to the Kingdom.
And it's so frustrating with Pokemon because there is so much money behind this franchise. And generally, it's the base games alone just make so much money. You can get more people. There are people who want to work on Pokemon, you know? Like, they could have these team sizes easy. And they just don't. Like, they just don't let Game Freak have the more people.
Also, friendly reminder, Game Freak actually owns the Pokemon Company, and the Pokemon Company does not have any say over what Game Freak does. They have a lot of say over what everything else in the franchise does, so guns blaze that way. But it's there's actually like a game development side to Game Freak and then a business side to Game Freak, and the business side of Game Freak is running the game development side of Game Freak ragged.
And they could just it's amazing. It's amazing. It's just you have the fucking money. You have the money. And like grabbing and shaking someone by the shirt. You have the fucking money.
I thought the business side was TPC. TPC takes care of the franchise as a whole, but in terms of the main series games specifically, Game Freak owns TPC, and TPC has no say in what Game Freak does.
Also, shout out to Scarlet Violet for breaking the Pokemon console rule? What's that?
There's a Pokemon console rule?
Also, first main game is rough. Oh, wait, I think it's this. First main game is rough, and then the next ones are better. Red, blue, yellow with gold, silver, crystal, ruby, sapphire, and emerald, diamond and pearl, and then heart, gold, soul, silver, black, white, XY, and ORAS.
You can include heart, gold, soul, silver in the first half. I mean, what?
I will definitely say heart, gold, soul, silver. What is this about Pokemon following you? Because I'm like, what does heart, gold, soul, silver offer the like diamond, pearl, and platinum, especially platinum, like doesn't? I'm like, it's got Pokemon following you, and otherwise feels like a pretty solid vertical slice.
It also technically has more content.
True. Johtomon, a good time. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a shameless heart, gold, soul, silver like apologist. It's the best game ever to me because I'm right and it makes my nostalgia happy. That's how it works.
Slightly faster UI. You save half a second. it's literally.
I also just don't like.
It's. I forget how fast. I need to do that. Test out the. Does Heart Gold Soul Silver have the saving a lot of data sale?
Yes, I want to say yes. I feel like I can't answer that fully, but I want to say yes. I love Jack. Heart Gold Soul Silver gives you a good time. I just do not like Sinnoh. No, that's fair. Sinnoh is the brainy wet region. That's what it is. Lyra, do you know what JoJo does to improve it? It doesn't have the goddamn slow effects in the already slow game.
There we go.
They didn't say it's slow. Let's add fucking snow and the sludge. Let's not do that, and that it made it better just by that.
A fair point. I do wish Johto had more. I wish Heart Gold Soul Silver had more content than the Kanto have, because it's barren and kind of boring. It really is. It's touted as being like twice as much content because you get 2 whole games, but it is a glorified boss gauntlet with the gym leaders, which, you know, Black and White 2 and the Alola games both do better. Because there's no plot in Kanto half. And the Pokemon are all too low level to catch.
I hate.
What's quacking?
I hate my brain.
It's snacking.
I can hear the people arguing with you, and I'm mad in my brain. There's plot in the Kanto half. Don't you remember, Lyra, the thrilling Oh, what is that building called? What is that building called?
The power plant?
Yes. Don't you remember the thrilling power plant plot? Lyra, how could you just say there's no plot?
It's a mystery.
I've legitimately seen that argument. I'm just... I'm just sitting here, a complete heart gold soul silver apologist, and I'm like, stop, don't.
So,
stop
as
talking.
somebody who just got done absolutely flaming Silver for not being nearly as good as a rival as everyone thinks he is, like 2 encounters with him beats all of Kanto.
Jack is DMing me something. I'm very excited.
Man, are we going to be able to end the stream early?
Probably at this rate. Oh my god.
Go for the ice pool. Go.
Oh, I watched Pirate Software.
There's a reason people compare him to Paul, because he's a great concept that's awesome in theory, but is poorly executed. That's the reason, right? Right?
That would be the good reason. Yeah.
Jack heard we were going too fast and decided to murder this weekend.
Yeah, can we end the stream early, Jack? Not if I have anything to say about it. Why will I ever align properly with the Pokemon fandom, Lyra?
Was that?
Will I ever align properly with the Pokemon fandom, Lyra? Like, everyone, we like Paul. I also like him. Isn't he such a good garbage guy to just absolutely want to, punch in the face? No, he's such a good character with development, and the opposite equal to Ash. And, he's fucking what?
You know.
I love Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It rings my nostalgia grate. It makes me happy every time I even think about it. Yeah, it's the best game. It's the best made game. It's the what?
Anyways, I could go for a Let's Go Johto. Opposite equal. Yeah, that's what the plot literally tries to make Paul out to be.
Yeah, opposite but equally valid to Ash as a trainer, despite the fact that he abuses his Pokemon to the point of mental breakdown.
The point of mental breakdown.
That's fine. Aww.
Chimchar, after having a day spent with Ash and training, when being praised after losing, breaks down in tears in Ash's arms. Because of the trauma he's been through. Which is opposite but equally valid to Ash. So anyway.
Jack says,
let's go
Johto, let's go Unova.
Well, here's my counterpoint. They did Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl at the same time as Legend Sinnoh, so hear me out. Let's go Johto and Legends Celebi or something like that. They have an excuse to repeat the time travel plot.
Lyra, I love that we're on the same wavelength, because that was my exact answer, was both.
Also, I know we usually ignore the game, but there's a Nidoqueen on screen right now.
Yeah, I've noticed.
You noticed that I stopped playing for a second.
Yes, I've noticed that we've been hovering here for a bit also, yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyways, 84 years ago, I believe Jack was like, oh, they can double the production team and still make a profit. So, remember when I said the Zelda team, what they do? With Nintendo tripled the Zelda team, I believe, between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Between the two of them, they have sold 50 million copies. So 50 million open world Zelda sold. 50 million Switch Zelda sold. Pokemon is on 49 million. Man, I don't think you can even see. Other Pokemon games on the chart. Which speaks volumes to how much things have sold, because I believe they're both at like 15 million. The remakes, Let's Go, and how do I look at my bookmarks? Oh, there it is. This is important, I swear. Oh, apparently I just have this book with the reacting. I just didn't know it. No, it's easy to find Deutsch just by typing into Google. Who would have thought? I forgot. They include all the remakes. Okay, so that's 15. And Let's Go. There's another 15. So Zelda, selling 50 million copies, felt they were making enough money to triple their size.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon, selling 80 million copies of Pokemon games on the Switch, disagrees.
It's fine.
Oh, you
It's
just
fine.
blocked me. I'm the Karate King. Only... No. I lied to you all. I forgot about a game.
Oh no.
Is it listed in the spin-offs? I forgot someone got murdered.
Brain is just immediately launching into the
Someone else got murdered.
I want it that way shtick. That's all I can think of now.
So another 15 million. I lied. It was 95 million. Not enough. Nearly double. I'd like to note this does not include the holiday sales. This is as of September last year.
Oh, okay, alright. Anyway, Game Freak, I'm begging you, please hire more people. You make one of the you make like the most profitable game franchise, please.
They have the literal most profitable entertainment franchise in the world.
Please.
I still won't get over how they make so many small animation projects but refuse to make a second anime.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. That is wild.
Javier says, I love how Amber is still activated in 0 HP. Actually, if you notice the name, that's still Tardist. Yeah, there we go. Perfect time for me to say that.
There it is.
Probably one of the most profitable companies as a whole was. Probably. Again, literal most profitable entertainment franchise in the world. I have to basically run back to the beginning anyways, right? Yep. It's
Right.
time to heal. Because both my water types have been sacrificed to the void.
The void.
I like how we'll just be talking about some random topic and then one of my Pokemon will die and that's just the crowd control.
The crowd control is actually just a podcast where sometimes Pokemon pass out in the background.